y'all, how you doing? This is your girl Tysheen, and I'm back. Have y'all did y'all Christmas shopping? Y'all done? Or are you still shopping? Still shopping? You got the decoration up already? I don't have much. It's all I have. My little decoration in the background, y'all can see. I try to make, you know, my video a little more feel like Christmas. So I hope you appreciate this. I wish I could have did more, but I didn't want to overdo it. I feel like I'm one of those people that will definitely overdo it because I love Christmas. Christmas is my favorite holiday, and I feel like I'm one of those people that would decked out. Like I would definitely overdo it. I'll probably have like a big Santa Claus statue on top of my roof with the reindeers and all that. I feel like I'm one of those people that would do that. But I don't have time for that. I don't have time. I don't have the time, the place. I don't have it. But yeah, so we're gonna be reacting to Americans living abroad. First time you realize America really messed up. Whoa. Okay. So wow. Let's just get started.
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really...
I've been living in New Zealand for the last 4 years, and at work there was an American flag, and I jokingly went and put my hand over my heart and said the Pledge of Allegiance, and everyone was kind of like, what is that? And I was like, oh, it's a Pledge of Allegiance. So basically growing up every day at school at like 9 o'clock or whatever, we would all stand up and the whole class would recite the Pledge of Allegiance with our hands over our hearts to the American flag in the corner of the room. And my coworkers were like, what? And, you know, when you say it out loud, it sounds a bit culty.
Well, when I was a kid, we used to have to, you know, every morning before we start class, we had to say it. So, I mean, I wouldn't say it now. I know they're probably looking at her weird, like...
So when I was in high school, I was a lifeguard, and during my lifeguard training, they taught us that before we even administer first aid or CPR, we had to ask for consent to avoid being sued. Now fast forward a couple of years, and I'm in London as a waitress, and my company sends me to go do CPR training. And while I'm there, they go over the same stuff that I learned in the States, but I notice that they're completely glossing over this one particular area. So I raise my hand and I ask, what are the laws here? Like, how do you avoid being sued if something goes wrong? To which every single person in the room starts laughing at me. It says, oh, you're American, right? Yeah, no one here is going to sue you for trying to save their life.
Wow, it's sad that we have to think that way. We do. I think that way also. You know, because this is America. People want to sue you for every little thing. People sue you just to look at them. So yeah.
So in the U.S., I regularly get pneumonia. Sometimes I get like pneumonia and bronchitis, but pretty much all, you know, like clockwork. I get it. I had just moved to Scotland for my master's, and I was coming down with a respiratory infection like I do every year. It was just the early onsets of pneumonia, but like normally I wait to the point of where I'm like literally unable to breathe before I go to the doctor because it's expensive in the US. Well, here I was like, you know what, I'm here. I paid for the NHS. Let me go get it. Saw a doctor, gave me a prescription. I went to the pharmacy to pick up my medication, something that I literally would not be able to afford with my minimum wage job and being a full-time student. They gave it to me for free because it was necessary, and I almost cried in the pharmacy. Like tears are welling in my eyes.
Oh, that is sad. Like, I don't understand why we have to pay for these things. It's just sad. I was gonna say something, but you know what? It's sad. When we sick, we gotta pay for our medication. We gotta pay for every little thing. If it's an emergency and we need an ambulance to pick us up, we gotta pay for the ride. Yes, people, we gotta pay for that too. Ugh, sad.
Okay, so I live in New York now, but I used to live in England, and one time I was out at this bar with my friends, and these two cops walked by. And one of my friends was like, oh, I wonder why there are cops out right now. And I looked at the cops and I got really confused, and I was like, those are cops? And my friends were like, yeah. And I was like, they don't have guns. And everyone was like, why would they have guns? They were like so aghast at that question. And I realized in that moment and learned that guns, there are so few guns in the UK, and it's such not an issue that like the everyday cop does not carry a gun. And I was there are houses in America that have seen more guns in them than a fresh vegetable.
That's so true.
It blew my fucking mind.
That's so true.
Think about it all the time. I hate guns so much.
Me too.
I hate guns so much.
Me too. I hate guns so much. I hate guns with a passion. Who made it? Like, who's the creator? Who sit there and create and said, I'm going to make this? Whoever made it, I hate you. But I heard about that. I heard certain countries, they don't carry guns. Like, I think in the UK, y'all don't carry guns. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true. The cops don't really carry guns. Only if they probably have to. I'm quite sure if it's a serious situation, they have to bring guns with them. Or they probably have it in their trunk. Who knows?
In the US, I could not let my 11-year-old son go outside and play by himself.
Sad.
Someone would call the cops or something would legitimately happen to him, and so there was no way. And when I moved to Germany, my husband, who's a German national, suggested that he go outside and play by himself because we would not have to worry.
I'm moving, y'all. I'm gonna cut this video because I'm gonna go pack up and yeah, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. You tell me you could leave your child outside and you don't have to worry about them? That's crazy. I wouldn't recommend you leaving your child outside here in America by themselves. Like, that's a no-no. Nope.
So I didn't realize this until I moved abroad, but Americans have a very strange concept of freedom. Like, when you're growing up, you're always told that America is such an amazing place and, you know, it's the land of the free, home of the brave. But, like, I keep hearing these criticisms from people like, oh, yeah, but America has the most freedom. Wow, yeah, freedom. I mean, there may be a few exceptions or nuances, but in the UK, you're still free. Like, that is the biggest lie that Americans are ever told, that there aren't other free places. Like, I don't understand. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I feel like the concept is kind of destroying American democracy. How ironic. Like, they need to kind of understand that they need to work on things to make themselves better and more free for their citizens.
Who told her that? Like, seriously, who told her that? Like, people need to stop lying. Free. I don't even know what that word is. I'm American. I don't know what that is. I really don't know what that is.
Okay, so I'm not currently living abroad, but I did live in Australia for a few months. And one night while I was there, I got a little bit too crazy and I ended up on public transportation without a phone. And I had to find my way back to my apartment and I got lost. And while I got off the tram to get onto a different tram to take me home, a middle-aged gentleman came up to me and I immediately went into attack mode and I was like going to kill him. And he was like, no, I was just going to tell you which tram to take to get back to Preston. And that was when I realized that in Australia, I didn't need to be afraid. Like, granted, take precautions, but I didn't need to be afraid of every man. But in America, I still am.
Yeah, she's absolutely right. I'm the same way too. I don't like people just approaching me like that. I'm like, I always get in a defensive mode. Like, I don't, you know, just don't come to me like that, you know, because I'm from New York, and I think some of us have trust issues. We don't like people just approach us out of nowhere. Like, you know, just don't approach me out of nowhere. Just be careful, because I get into that fighting mode, which is sad. So yeah, you do gotta be careful, but it's sad that we have to be like that, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I understand where she's coming from.
So I don't live abroad anymore, but for half of 2018, I lived in Germany, and I have so many stories.
Damn.
The town that I lived in had like a main plaza area, and there was a cafe in that plaza. So a couple of my other American friends and I decided to try it out one day, and there was a construction site nearby. We heard a really loud bang, and, you know, we kind of assumed that someone had fired a gun, and so we, like, ducked for cover, and then we were looking around frantically, trying to find, like, a place that we could run to or hide to get out of the situation, and then we realized that no one had shot a gun. No, it was a loud bang from the construction site. That's it. That's all it was. We'd been speaking in English, and we all have really obvious American accents, so all the Germans around us gave us these really sad looks, like, oh, these poor, poor Americans.
That is true. If you hear a bang, the first thing we thinking of is well, for me, either a bomb. If I hear something that sounds like a bomb, I get real, you know. Ever since the whole 9/11. Let me tell you something. 9/11. That day traumatized me. It really did. It traumatized me for like months, or I should say years, because I'm always thinking that something bigger is gonna happen. I'm always thinking that, like, these people are not gonna stop. They're gonna do more. I was always thinking. I used to be afraid to take the train. I was afraid to take the bus because I thought they was gonna bomb the bus. They was gonna bomb the building I'm going in. I used to be so much in edge. Like, I used to be so scared, like, sad that I had to feel that way. But yeah, it's just sad.
Okay, so I moved to Sweden. And when I got here, I wasn't feeling too well, so I went to the doctor, and the doctor recommended that I get an EKG, an electrocardiogram. Now, instead of worrying about my health, my first reaction was, I'm sorry, I don't know if I can get one of those, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford it. And this sweet little man, this sweet, amazing doctor goes, did you not pay the, like, $20 when you got here? I ended up getting a regular EKG, a 24-hour-long EKG, a blood test, and a freaking checkup for $20! Best part of this entire situation is that I am getting better, and I am getting the medical attention I need without going broke.
Wait, what? So she paid $20 just for everything? Blood tests, all of that? We have to pay for all of that. Yes, we have to pay for everything. Every test, every medication, every tissue that you use, every magazine that you read at the doctor's office, you gotta pay for all of that. You gotta pay for everything.
I pride myself on being an American. I didn't make it out before COVID, but I went to Norway, and I fell in love with Norway. I read about it, researched it, and
I always dream of going to, oh my God, there's so many places I've seen and read about that I want to go there so bad. Like Norway, it's something about Norway I just want to visit, like, so bad. I can't wait for the day when I go and visit.
Like, I've got to visit first, and I only went for a week, and it was for the Inferno Metal Festival, and for the first time in my life, I was actually called an American. They didn't assume where I was from, and there was this beautiful Norwegian elder, and she says, "God påske," and I said, "Beklager, jeg snakker litt norsk," and I said, basically, she said, "Happy Easter," and I said, "I'm sorry, I don't speak a lot of Norwegian," and she goes, "Oh, you're an American," and she didn't worry about her purse. She didn't look at me sideways, and I cried when I left, because for the first time I was able to be just an American. I didn't even hardly drink, didn't do anything crazy.
So during the first lockdown, we have an elderly neighbor, and we would go and check in on her every once in a while and, like, get her groceries if she needed. And progressively, she started not be able to breathe very well. And we knew it wasn't COVID because she had it before.
Whoa.
But, like, at one point, it was like she couldn't even get to the door without, like, literally not being able to breathe and having to sit down. So my partner decided that we needed to call an ambulance for her and get her to the hospital pronto. And when he told me that he was going to call an ambulance, the first thing that I said was, "Are you sure? Can she afford an ambulance? Like, we could just drive her." And it wasn't until my partner looked at me like,
and that it clicked that, oh, that's not a worry here. And then I went upstairs and cried because it really smacked me in the face that as Americans, we are conditioned to not worry about someone's health first, but to worry about whether or not they can financially afford to see a doctor.
That is sad. That's the first thing that's the first thing you have to worry about. If it is an emergency and something is wrong with you, it's sad that that's the first thing we have to think about. Can I afford it? And it's sad because there are people who could be sick, but that's one of the reasons why they don't go see a doctor, because they can't afford it to see a doctor, which is so sad. Like, I keep telling people, America is business. This is a business country. This country is all about business.
So I moved to Germany in 2018 as a study abroad student, and I had a nice apartment that was on the ground floor with a nice patio, a big door that opened that led to the patio. And I was minding my own business in bed one day. The door was wide open. I had my noise-canceling headphones on, and I heard these really loud banging noises coming from outside that weren't very far. And I'm like, that's not a firework or a firecracker. It can't be. I freak out because as an American, I'm like, I'm about to get shot. Somebody is shooting up all of the student apartments right now. So I call all of my friends and I'm like, did you hear that? Am I crazy? Do we need to call the police and whatever? And they're like, I don't know, but yeah, maybe call your boyfriend who's German and like ask him. So I call my boyfriend and I'm like, watching, we just heard this stuff, like what's going on? And he's like, not to worry. Here in Germany, we don't have shooters. Those are probably just firecrackers. And I'm just like, I'm damaged. Like we are all damaged and freaking out about freaking firecrackers. We think we're going to get shot up.
We are damaged. It's sad. I hate 4th of July. Y'all don't understand how much I hate it because people's, oh my God, especially where I live. I have to hear the fireworks before 4th of July, like a month before. And they don't stop till like 2 months after. And it'd be so noisy and sometimes you don't even know, like some people might know the difference. Like they know when somebody's shooting and when somebody, But it's just sad that I be thinking that sometimes. I'm like, oh my God, let me move away from the window because I don't know if someone is shooting. So it's like, oh my God, that's sad.
Hey, I live in Ireland and I've lived most of my adult life here. I moved to Ireland in 1995. My teenage daughter was born here many years ago, and when she was born, I spent 2 nights in hospital before she was born. I had an emergency cesarean section, and then I spent a further 6 nights afterwards. The total cost to me was $0. I kept asking them, like, are you sure no one wants my credit card? Like, do you want my details so you can send me the bill? And they would just like laugh, like, oh, you're American. There's no bill. So 8 nights in hospital, emergency procedure, $0 bill.
Okay, I have another one. When I was studying in Spain, we had our orientation the first week of classes, and our program director sat us all down and had to explain our health insurance to us and how it worked. And basically it worked that you paid like €1,000 for the semester and you got health insurance, like free health insurance for everything, covered everything. And she had to sit us down, and she had this big group of Americans in a room, and she was like, listen, if you are sick, go to the doctor. And we were all like, yes. And she was like, no, like Americans don't go to the doctor. You won't go to the doctor when you're sick. So I have to tell you every year to do this, and still kids will just put off going to the doctor because you're used to just like pushing through illness. No matter what it is, I don't care if it's a cold, go to the doctor. And she had to actually like spell that out for us.
All right, y'all. There you have it. That is crazy. I was not expected to hear some of these. Some of them I was not surprised, but I didn't know that certain other country, it was free also. Medical was free. I didn't know that. It's crazy, but I'll definitely be reacting more of this, so subscribe to my channel, and I see I love you people, and also Merry Christmas, have a safe one, bye.